All right, welcome everybody. Sorry for all the details coming when we go to do this, but there's a lot of technology that goes on so that we can meet and be able to do this properly. But the first thing I want to do is introduce everybody to the board members that are here. So I'm going to start right up at the top. Levon, if you'll raise your hand, Levon Marshall.
Hi.
Next to her is Mary Lou Dykstra. She's our secretary. Next to her is Kim Gill, and she's our treasurer. Then myself and my husband, Patty, and my husband, Bill. We're over here. And then in the middle is April Rumpa. And then June, raise your hand. Yeah, there you go. And Gary, raise your hand. Yeah, there you go. And then Steve Pertay. So that's Gary Eldridge. Sorry about that. And Steve Pertay. So this is our board, and I wanted you all to know who they were and what they look like. So I've tried very hard to not make these meetings longer than an hour, and I'm going to do that again tonight. And what I'd like to strive for that anyway. And if we start to go beyond that period of time, what I'd like to do is set up another meeting on another date, and then we can continue the discussion. Okay, because 1 hour is plenty long, I think, for all of us to be together. So I hope you understand that. Okay. And then if you're going to speak and answer a question or have a comment, please either write your comment in the chat and Kim will bring that up. Or if you do speak, please say your name so that we know who you are before you give your comment. Okay? That's all about that. And we will be recording this and it will be on our YouTube channel. So if there's anybody that's on here that has any issue with that, you can just turn off your video and then you won't have to worry about being seen on the event if that's something that you don't want to have, okay? So we're going to start and April's going to be our first presenter. So I'm going to take care of a couple people here that don't need to be seen so much anymore. So bear with me for a minute. So I'll remove the spotlight from a few of you so that you can see April a little bit easier.
So why don't I start while you're doing that?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So in my report, I mentioned the fact that right now for social media, and that includes Facebook and Instagram for us, we are posting all of the images that are in exhibits. That's one of the types of posts we do. We also do announcements about people who got scholarships and things like that. And then we also have one person on our team who periodically does a feature on a particular art, one of our members. You have always been allowed to send us a request if you are, say, having a solo exhibit of your experimental art. You can send us an email. You would send that to the social media email address. And Patty, maybe when you do the website, you can show them where our executive page is so that they can see
Okay.
what each of those email addresses are. Because if I
Okay.
try to read it out loud, it's no one's going to be able to catch it. Um, so you always have an opportunity to just send us an email and say, hey, I got this going on. Could you post about it? Maybe provide us with an image that we could use. But what I really wanted to know is whether anyone had other ideas of what they would like us to also be doing in social media, or if there's any of those things that you wish we weren't doing is also good input. Okay. So I'm taking that to mean that nobody has any suggestions unless something pops up in chat.
If I'm doing this correctly, I'm not seeing anything in chat right at the moment.
Yep, I'm not either.
Good.
Okay. All right. Well, then, okay, Patty, we might as well move on to the next topic.
Okay. So Levon, the next topic is about the ISEA book club that you were hoping to get going?
Yes, I'm Levon Marshall, and I had a few people talk to me about the possibility of starting a club, a member book club. And I have quite a bit of experience doing book clubs. For the last 10 years of my career at the library, I managed 2 book clubs. And so I'm kind of wondering if there is interest, and the way it would work is we would meet quarterly. So we would read 4 books a year. I would, at this point, I'm thinking that I would choose the titles, and there would be a variety of topics. We would do fiction and nonfiction, and they wouldn't necessarily all be strictly artist biographies or art related. We might have 1 or 2 of those, but and then we would meet to discuss the book, and I would have questions that we could talk about. And the other idea that I had, that depending on the book, it might be really fun to forego the questions and have members do an art piece that was related to the book that we read. So I really would like to know if people are interested, and what I will do is I'll send out a series of inquiries over the next month or so. And if you respond, I'll just keep track of everyone that responds in a group. And if I get enough people and enough interest, then we will plan our first book club meeting for March. So, yeah, I think it might be fun. And hopefully we'll get a number of people interested. We would meet on Zoom, and we would probably, well, there's a variety of ways we could do it, but basically I'm just gauging interest right now.
Levon, I do have a question from Dan Borden. Congratulations, Dan, by the way.
Yeah.
Your award. Okay, so he wanted to know, I would be interested. Would you take suggestions on books to be read?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And to back up, Linda Raymore said, I see your messages on Instagram all the time. Excellent, by the way. Okay, so I had to get that in there. But back to book club. So, yeah.
So, yeah, one was the first, Linda is about the social media, right?
Yeah.
And then, anybody else have any questions or comments about the book club at this moment?
You're not on it. Everybody else is, though. Okay. Every other person's. I don't want.
You can ask.
Okay.
Renee thinks it's a great idea.
I think it could be really
Speak up,
fun.
right? They don't have to chat if you don't want to use chat.
Right.
So does Bill.
And depending on how many people are interested, we could always split the group up so that people would actually get to talk. And I'm in another online group that we meet on Zoom, and we do a thing where we pass the talking stick. So hopefully, I've really enjoyed it. And we always consider, at the library, we always considered books literary art. So it's just a nice addition to the group, I think.
Good.
Yeah, it would be. Okay, well, the next thing on the agenda was to look to know whether or not people know how to find the YouTube channel. So, April, do you want to do that now?
Yeah, I was going to go ahead and share my screen.
Yep, that would be great. Thank you.
So let me make sure actually. So are you seeing this screen over here?
Yep.
Hmm?
So currently, so I am just at the top level of YouTube. And what I wanted you to know is that YouTube actually allows for handles, just like every other social media thing. And so if you put in a slash following youtube.com, and then you put in our handle, and our handle is the longest handle that you can actually have. So it is international, spelled just INTL, and then Society Experimental Artists. And if you go there, it's going to take us to that channel. And I wanted to just give you a little bit of an insight of the kinds of things you're going to see here. So if you're at the top level, it just shows a bunch of videos that it has selected. But if you click on playlists, we have kind of attempted to organize this. So if you are looking for an art innovation talk now, which we also have on our website, there's a page on our website where we have embedded all of those videos. But if you're in YouTube and it's like, oh, well, I'd like to watch one of those, you can go into that playlist and all of them are here. I believe we have 11 at this point. Am I right?
Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Haley Joseph, ISEA.
Let me stop, Haley. So that's one of the things that we have here. And then we also have some tips, short video tips that are related to exhibits. So for example, writing a statement about why is it experimental is in there. There's a couple of others. And then we do also have some clips from our innovation and symposium. We've got 3 different videos related to those or to our symposiums. And then this last one is just people who sponsor awards for innovations. One of the things that we do for them in return is that we do also hunt down some of the videos that they have done that we think might be generically of interest to our members. And so in here, there's a few videos that we've included. And I think most of them at this point are Dick Blick because some of the other sponsors are not art organizations. And so it's a little bit trickier on those. So that's kind of a summary of what we've got. And that would be the easiest way to find it is using that handle. That's it for me. Let me stop sharing.
Think so. Were there any questions regarding how to find the YouTube channel?
I have noticed that since you had an email recently where you sent out the handles for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, that we have gotten several more subscribers, subscribers in our YouTube channel.
So we need to, on our template, make sure that we're adding, make sure that's on there, that little icon on the link, right?
Yep.
Okay, we'll try and look at that, make sure. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. So far, so good, huh? So now I am going to go and share our website. I hope. No, that's my inbox. That's Zoom. That's text. Oh, sorry. I have to open it. I thought I had it. So let me add ISEA home here. Bear with me. Guess I have to get rid of this one. And I have to go to home. Okay, now I can go back and share it, I think. There we go. Okay. I'm sure this will look familiar to everybody. This is the ISEA website, right? And a lot of times it's a little difficult to use because if you click up here at the top, you always have to make these areas green before you can go down to any of the rest that are here. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So, okay, so make that green and then go down to whatever you want to look at. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. The next thing I want to show you is so many people have said that they have a lot of trouble getting into the directory, which is right here, and getting their stuff shown on the directory. Well, if you go all the way over here to help and you click on help, it tells you how to find your profile and it tells you how to appear in the directory step by step by step. and then to check your directory and make sure you're actually in there. Okay? And it also has a lot of other information in here that will help you negotiate the site if you're having trouble. You want to review your privacy. A lot of people have had issues with the privacy part of it, and they've turned off the streaming emails from ISEA. So then they find out that they're not getting information about all of the exhibits or other information that they really do want to have. But you can go into your own privacy and change your link at any time. And right here shows you how to do that. And then if you're still having issues, there's a support. Just contact ISEA support and we'll be happy to help you figure it all out. Okay? Now from here, I want to go back to home.
I do wanted to mention on the directory that when you are filling out your profile, there are spaces for 3 artworks. You have to have 3 artworks before you're going to appear in the directory. That's the way the site has been set up. So I think that often people put in 1 or 2 images, but until there's a 3rd one added, it does not display you. And that's, I think, the biggest problem that has occurred.
So I'm going to go into my profile a minute so you can see, because I am in the directory. So you can see if you go down here, it has all my information. There's a couple of things I want to point out here. First of all, a lot of people are having trouble with what this full address means. And if you look here, it means your name, your street address, your state or province, and your zip code and your country. And that's the full mailing address. And honestly, that's what we need desperately from everybody. Filled out like this. And if you could do it all in capitals, that would be absolutely wonderful. And if you have a signature membership, you can put that there and it will come on the envelope with your catalog. You can also put it here, which is under your display name. So you can tell exactly how you want your name displayed when there's an exhibit. But you have to put that there so we know to do that, okay? And then if you get down here to the directory information, yes, you have to have 3 images and your biography and your information about exhibits and your statement and the types of media. So that's all part of being part of the directory. And then you have to go to your privacy and say, let everybody see it in order for you to be in the directory. Okay, does anybody have any questions about that?
Should you go to privacy to show them, Patty?
I can't unless I go into administration.
Yeah,
And I
unless
could
they
do
have
that.
turned it off, I think the default is that it's on, but you have to have filled in all the images before the website gets triggered.
Right.
Okay.
So you have to have all 3 images. Okay, now another thing I want to show you is, so I've showed you that, okay. Got to change my paper here and continue. I also want to show you how to get to seeing the images that are available, which are not in this website, but they're on a website that's connected. So anytime on this home page that you say see more, it's here, and it's here. It's in 3 places. Anytime you click on this, it's going to take you to our visual site. Right now it's taking you to innovations because that's the one I clicked. And there you go. And you can see the whole exhibit. You can also, okay. And then you can also see, if you click on the image itself, and then you click again, you can also read the statement that the artists have written for each image that's in this site. Okay, and then if you get out of here, the problem I'm having is I have to get out of here at the top. Okay, so then I want to go back to the home website, and right over here, all you have to do is click right here and it'll take you right back to home on our website. And then if you go down here, you can see event photos. And if you click here, you can see many years of event photos from various, I don't know why that came up there, but this was from this year. But there are other years there too, many other years. And then if you go back to event photos and you click on this, this is actually a video from this year. And you can, well, there's two of them there. There's a video and there's the other photos, but there's both the video and the photos there. So there's lots of visual information there. The other cool thing that you can do in this site is you can actually look for your own photos. If you want to check out and make sure that you're, wait a minute, let me go to there. No, I have to find the search.
It's right. It's right
Search art,
here.
right here. Search art. If you put in your name and you search art, you will see all the times that you've entered and what images you've entered. If you ever have to check back and make sure you're not entering an image again. And it also shows like if you're in photos and stuff, like if I put my name in there, I've been a part of this group for a long time. So there's lots of things in there, but well, let me just show you quick. It's just kind of cool because anything that's got your name on it is there. And that's really helpful if you have to search your art so that you don't end up entering another time the same image. Okay? And again, if you click on one and you click on it again, well, maybe that one won't do that now.
Or your statement would come up.
Yeah, usually
Always
my
hit the little eye on
right-
the left side.
Pardon?
The little eye, if you click on that, you're going to get the information.
There you
There we
go.
go. So if you click the little eye on the left-hand side, you can see all the information that goes with it. Okay, it's just kind of fun. We have a lot available to us. And I think it's kind of hard sometimes so I'm going to go back to the home now, the easy way, because I also want to show you.
Excuse me, Patty.
Yeah.
Gary had a suggestion, Gary Eldridge, who's, in the catalog committee, that for all US addresses, please be sure to include your 9-digit zip code.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Gary. Yes, because we have to add it if you don't.
So that's the purpose of the full address, is for the addressing of shipping catalogs.
That's
Yes.
exactly right. That's the only thing we ever ship is the catalog. So the more inclusive you can be with that address, the easier it is for us to get it right. And the less chance we have of getting it back and have to try and reship it. Okay, so you asked about,
The executive.
yeah. So these are the different email addresses, like if you want to reach me, and there are a couple other of us presidents' email address, financial questions are there. ISEA entry is right here. And membership is right here. Scholarship, social media.
And volunteers was up there too.
Oh, sorry, support. And I miss volunteers. I'm so sorry.
For some reason, it's not showing in blue. I don't know why.
We have to add a link. AIT. It should be right here. Volunteers.
It was down below
Yeah.
under
Yeah.
my photo below Mary Lou, I think, a little bit further.
Am I getting there?
Yes, you are. You got to just keep going. There it is.
There, right
See, it's
here.
not in blue.
It
but-
is, yeah, we better make
It is
sure
a
that
link,
that's,
but for some reason it doesn't have the standard.
it does link to it, but it isn't the right color.
Right.
So change that. But anyway, so if you ever need to get a hold of us, there's a really easy way. You can just go to the executive page and look at any of those emails and get a hold of any of us regarding anything. So, and then the other thing I wanted to show you, what was the other thing? Oh, the symposium page. I don't know how many of you have gone there. And of course, this was from this year, but it has all the details on this page of what's going on for the symposium. Material list, course description, and also registration. And there's a couple places where it has registration. So if you've never gone there, please go and just look at it. There's a lot of information there that I think sometimes gets missed. So I think unless somebody else has other questions, the one thing I'd like to know from you folks that are here tonight is, are you interested in symposiums? And if you are interested in going, what is it that you would like to do we're usually there for 3 days of educational experience, and then we try and do 1 day of travel around the area, just to get everybody a chance to see the area. So I'd love some input about what it is you'd like to see happen during a symposium, what kind of workshops you'd like to have, demos, discussion groups, what sounds the best to you? Because we certainly need that information. And then the other thing would be, is there a place in your area that you think might handle 90 pieces of art that might be available, that maybe we can help you connect with them and have ISEA closer to home for you? That would be nice for any of us, I would think, right?
Yep.
Not have to travel so far. So, okay, so did anyone have any comments about that, Kim?
No.
2 things, okay. So then the other thing is there anything specific that we have not discussed that you would like to bring up at this time? And I'll stop sharing so we can get back on.
The only other thing I had was Linda Raymore had a suggestion for a book. Back to Levon, would suggest In and Out for this club. I don't know if that's a name of a book, In and Out. Linda, do you want to?
Oh, what I meant is it probably is not something that I could commit to like on a regular basis. But, if the book was posted, and depending on, personal lives and personal time, it might be something that would be very interesting.
Yeah, that would be possible. We could do an all-member invitation and then just have people respond. Thanks for saying that, because I am sort of figuring this out as we're going along. So it's different when you're meeting on Zoom and
I wanted to say something. I'm Marcia Kartzman, and I'm a new member, really, pretty new member. I just wanted to say I think this was great, and I'm glad that I attended just so I could see faces of people. And I am on the scholarship committee.
Yay.
I wanted to say that I think the book club is, I have my own sort of art group that I lead here in Rhode Island. And I'm always trying to get the people in the group to read books and then we could discuss them. And people never do that. So I would love to have a book club because there's I just think it would be really interesting. And the other thing is for the innovations, I don't know if this is something you've done, but to me, what's always interesting, besides, of course, workshops, learning new things, is history. Like the history of various, like for instance, textile art, fiber art is now seen suddenly, I say that in quotes, like this hot commodity. And to me, it would be so fascinating to go back in time and see previous artists who have been doing this work, oh my God, I can't think of her name now. Like Tawny, what was her first name? Lorna, you know who I mean. She was from the 1950s and she did weaving and she really sort of started breaking through somewhat. And I just think things like that, learning about the people who came before is always something that's really interesting and also can inform your own work and what you're doing, make you think in a different way about what you're doing creatively. So those are my two things.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. That's awesome.
It'd be fun. Doris, just to go backtrack again, Doris Larson, thank you for being here. She said she was grateful for the meeting, for the symposium in Grand Haven. Many years ago, it was at the Forest Hills Fine Arts Center, and that was a wonderful venue. So yeah, you're right, Patty. If you can if somebody's got a cool venue for innovations exhibition, that would be awesome. We're always looking.
Yeah, please
Yep.
let us know. Next year we'll be at Ormond, Ormond Memorial Art Museum and Gardens in Ormond Beach, Florida. The following year we'll be at Tabak Center for the Arts in Tabak, Arizona. But then beyond that, so far we do not have years beyond that. So, and it usually takes about 2 years to find a venue and get it set up. So probably 2027, we may be skipping that year because when we go to Tabak, we're going to be there in December. So, and the work isn't coming home until January. So that's going to kind of mess up the year of 2026 and 2027. But we're looking for 2028 and beyond. So if you can think of anything, please let us know. And Steve, I was going to ask you, would you like to mention what you found out about the iPhones and what people should be aware of as far as taking images on their phones?
Sure. This came up. In the innovations this year, there were 2 or 3 entries that they were having trouble getting their images into Cafe. And as I assisted them, I discovered that there's this format that I really wasn't familiar with called HEIF that Apple has adopted on their iPhones. And they've done this because it's a JPEG is an old technology, and Apple is moving forward with this technology because it's superior. It's actually been around for a while. They first introduced it with iOS 11, apparently, and we're now up to iOS 18. So it's been around for a while, but it just kind of cropped up this time in innovations, applications. It could have been a problem before and people just gave up trying, but it's something to be aware of. You do need to convert it to JPEG, your images, because Cafe at this time does not accept HEIF formats. Another thing that I noticed, well, there were a couple of entries that came in exceptionally large. The image had an exceptionally large file. And that may also be due to the iPhone 16, which I gather is a new camera that's taking much larger photographs. And so those need to be reduced substantially in order to be accepted by Cafe. So those are a couple of things that cropped up this time that I hadn't run into before.
So I will mention that there is a setting on your phone where you can tell it that when exporting the images to change them to JPEG,
Yes, thank you, April.
they would have to just do that setting.
Right, it's in your camera setting, and I believe you can. The default setting is the HEIF, and then the alternate is compatible setting, and it makes it turns it to a JPEG, and then it's compatible with everything.
And you can turn that on and off.
Yes.
Because you're right, you get bigger images if you leave it in the, well, mine come in and it's HEIC, I think, not F. But
Right.
anyway, mine come in that way and I have to convert them, but they're larger images than if they were a JPEG. So you can turn it on and off. You wouldn't necessarily want to leave it on, especially if you're using any of your images from your phone to print. Because obviously, if you're going to print them, you want the biggest image possible. But just be aware that you do have to make a JPEG right now for Cafe.
We had a question about how you can find this in your settings. Where do you find this?
It's
Just under settings in your phone?
Settings, and you scroll down to camera.
Okay.
I believe. And click on camera. And let's see.
Yeah, it is.
And then formats. And that's camera capture, high efficiency, or most compatible. The most compatible setting is the JPEG.
Is this, we have the help session. Should we have this available for people on the website so they know how to do this?
Yeah, there is a spot where we have tips associated with the exhibits. There's a page where we have additional tips and also the links to the videos we have in YouTube.
If you go to exhibits and you click on the exhibit and you go down, the bottom one, I think, is exhibit help. You could put it on that page.
Yeah, so we could add it there. That's a good idea.
Well, I'm a question.
Jenny Bate says, I have issues with the HEIF files.
Okay, I'll
From
do
my
this.
husband's
HEIC files.
HEIC. Go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah. My husband has an Android, and if he emails things to me, I can, on my Windows 10, there was nothing that I could open it with. I have Photoshop, and there's none of the other things that I could find to open it with. But when we plugged his phone into my Windows 11 machine, I was able to download them and open them and change them into JPEGs quite easily. So it might be, if everybody's on Windows 10, that might be part of the problem. But then you're talking about iPhones, and his is an Android.
Yeah.
My understanding is that Android will be eventually adopting the same technology, but at the moment it does not.
Yeah, he has HEIC files, and I think he's got like the latest 616 or the fancy one that just came out, and he had like the one that he had before was only a couple of years old, and it's not a new problem. The older phone only like 3 or 4 years old, if that. still have produced hike files if he emailed them from the phone.
So did you say you could open them on Windows 10, but
I could not open them on Windows 10 if he emailed them, but we plugged his newer phone, I think it's the S16, the Samsung 16, the really the newest one, he's only had it a few months, into my new Windows 11 that wasn't emailed, so it was just like a direct download, like an external drive.
right?
And I was able to open them. There was no issues whatsoever at that point.
Oh, that's good to know.
So yeah. Sorry, I'll have to go to Windows 11.
Is there anything else that someone wants to bring up that we haven't talked about yet tonight? Any of you, there's a bunch of you muted, but unmute yourself if there's something you want to ask about. Well, thank you. I certainly didn't expect to get this done this quickly. I appreciate all your time and energy, and I really appreciate you coming. Glad to have you here. So those of you who are not on the board are welcome to leave at this point. And then we're going to have a little board meeting right after this.
Doris Larson had a last comment, wanted to thank Steve about helping her with her photo because it was too small and you were very helpful. And she is also very interested in the book club, Levon. That's Doris Larson.
Great.
She's the lead.
You're
Yep.
very welcome, Doris.
Very good. Very good.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
A lot of thank yous.